俺の財宝か？欲しけりゃくれてやる。探せ！この世の全てをそこに置いてきた。
Yo guys, welcome to this new video. It is the first of the recorded ones. As the first, it has many things that I can improve. I know that. I know I can improve my English, I know I can improve my editing, so if you have any kind of suggestions, feel free to put them in the comments below. If you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe. Anyway, let's jump straight into it, into Big Mom's Amnesia. So the first great thing about this plot twist is the great unpredictability of the way it is presented. Now, I know that talking about a plot twist, it could sound weird that we are underlining the unpredictability because it's a plot twist. We expect it to be unexpected. But in this case, things are slightly different because it happened as last event of a series of unexpected happenings, of a series of unexpected events featuring Big Mom. First, we saw her appearing suddenly in Wano's waters after a while, after a period that made us think she would have never appeared during the arc or before Kaido was defeated. But she appeared, and while we were thinking what will happen now, she finally entered the country. Now everything will collapse. She just falls from the waterfall. And while we are thinking about did she survive? If she survives, what will she do? Will she try to climb the waterfall again? Will she enter the country in another way? Will this happen before or after Kaido will be defeated? All of these were the questions we had in our mind, but after that we just suddenly found her on Kuri's beach. And in that moment, when we just were thinking that nothing could surprise us anymore, especially because we saw Luffy washed on that same shore without any kind of consequence, she forgot anything about herself. So this is the contest, the way it is presented, that makes the unpredictability of this particular plot twist incredible, especially because we are talking about a yonko, a person that with her actions can influence directly or indirectly the entire world, the entire One Piece world. And this is particularly true in a contest where the reverie is under attack, because we must remember that Sabo is fighting now in the reverie against Fujitora and the Ryokugyu, and there is also an incident that will appear in the reverie, will happen at the reverie, probably featuring Dragon, the one that Oda mentioned in the letter he wrote in occasion of the latest Jump Festa. So the world is kind of crumbling, and in this particular situation Big Mom could do anything. We cannot predict what will happen to Big Mom, and this is the unpredictability, which is sustained by the fact that she has an amnesia, a mind condition that is the embodiment, one could say, of unpredictability, something that is unpredictable by its nature, because amnesia not only doesn't give us opportunity to understand what actually caused it or what actually will help to recover the memories, but we can't know if the memories will ever be recovered. In Big Mom's case, I'm pretty confident that she will actually regain them, but we will discuss this a little bit further. The thing is, in this situation, she could take any direction. Any direction is possible, and for this reason, this amnesia, this plot twist is incredibly relevant for One Piece, and despite this greatness, it is presented in the simplest way possible, with just an illustration saying, "Who am I?" This great simplicity that creates this contrast between the greatness of the influence that it can have and the way it is presented, the way it is introduced. It's one of those things that makes One Piece incredible, a masterpiece. Especially because it's an amnesia. It's something that must be presented that way, because it's something that appears suddenly without any kind of anticipation. you don't expect and you would never expect it to happen. So it must be presented that way, that sudden way. But the way it is incredible doesn't end with this, because it's the contrast also with the fact that despite she is a yonko, despite she is so powerful, not only physically, but also with her influence that is capable to find information from anywhere in the world. She found out that Sanji grew up with Zeph. She found out the way to enter Wano Kuni. She can cut the head of any of your relatives if you refuse to participate to her tea party. So she can do any of that, but beside all of that, she's still human. She's still a person that can forget anything about herself as any other human. And this can erase everything she could do, everything she was, her status of a yonko, her influence, her power, anything can be erased with this simple and sudden happening that can happen to every human. I will explore this aspect a little bit better and in detail at the end of the video, where I talk about the significance of the concept of the amnesia. Now I want to focus more about the plot. Now, I said before that I'm very confident that she will regain actually her memory, and this is because I think that some of her children, if not all of them, survived the fall. This is not only because Luffy survived, Big Mom survived, but also because there are among them some that have abilities capable to make them survive not only the fall but also the ocean itself, because most of them are devil fruit users. An example is Prospero. In Whole Cake Island we saw many times how he was capable to create a support, a candy support, allowing to walk on the ocean literally, or that kind of fast frog that could swim very quickly and cover long distances very fast. So Prospero is one of those that can sustain the others. Also the ship is the ship of a yonko. We can imagine it didn't suffer too much damage, so it's probably recoverable, one could say. I'd say that most of the children survived, so most of the children will enter the country, especially if they won't find their mother. They could think that she sank somewhere under the fall, which is, you know, the most logical thing to think, because how could she climb the waterfall? It is something we still didn't explain, right, Oda? So they could just stay there and search for her, but I think that eventually she will be found by some of her sons and daughters. And even if she doesn't remember that she had 80 and more of them now, probably just seeing one of them will cause her memories to be recovered, or at least will help a lot to trigger this. But for this reason exactly, I think that she was severed from them, because she needs to leave something, to experience something in between that will change her behavior. But considering how angry she was with Luffy, because he kind of messed up everything in Whole Cake Island, and Nami also stole Zeus, so for a couple of things she can be considered actually kind of justified. We can imagine that after recovering her memories, she won't be so nice with Luffy no matter what happens meanwhile. So I think that for this reason Oda chose to introduce her in the arc so close to the Fire Festival, to the moment of the fights, because I think that he doesn't want her to recover her memories before the festival begins. I think that she will recover the memories during or after the festival, and this is because if this isn't the case, the amnesia is completely useless in terms of the plot, because the effect, the true effect of it will just be that Big Mom forget about herself for a while, but it's a while that is not important at all for the plot, because the great moment, the important moment is the Fire Festival, and the moment in which she is supposed to be relevant is exactly the Fire Festival. So recovering the memories before it won't change the way she would have behaved if she didn't have the amnesia in the first place. If she kept her memories, it would be as if she just entered the country the moment in which she recovers her memories. So I think that she has to experience something during this period that of course must change her behavior towards the Mugiwaras. For this reason it was Chopper who found her. Also because Chopper was actually doing anything apart from playing ninja, so it was actually kind of time that he had something to do relevant to the plot. Anyway, she was found by Chopper, so she will experience something with the Mugiwaras, and this will probably create, because in this moment about her everything is created, because she is kind of a blank page, so something needs to be written on her. So everything that she experiences with Chopper, with the Ninja Pirate Ming Samurai Alliance, will influence and change the way she would have behaved if she maintained her memories. So for this reason we can expect her, in the case she participates to the Fair Festival, side the Mugiwaras. After she regains her memories this will probably change, but until that moment, and this is why that moment must be during or after the Fire Festival, she will probably be on their side. But if so, there is another question that arises, because I mean, Oda, you are putting a Yonko on Luffy's side. Now, we know that Kaido is incredibly strong, but we also know that it's Luffy's thing to defeat him. It's Luffy's thing, it's Kid's thing, it's Low's thing. I mean, from the beginning of the New World we are talking about defeating Kaido with Low. Luffy was kicked just now, but this doesn't mean he renounced to fight him. Kid is in the same situation, so the most probable happening is Luffy, Kid, Law fighting Kaido. But you're putting Big Mom on their side. It is kind of unbalanced. I mean, I know that there is Orochi, I know that there are the coolest ninjas in the world on Oroshi's side, but also the Ninja Pirate Ming Samurai Alliance is incredibly strong. We have 3 samurais that are Yonko Commander Leader. We have Inuarashi and Nekomamushi that are Yonko Commander Leader. We have Luffy, Zoro, Sanji. We have a lot of incredibly strong fighters. Low, Kid. We have also other supernovas. Some of them were not shown yet, like Apu, like Killer, that may be alive, maybe not, we still don't know. So there is a lot of stuff already boiling, you could say, in Wano. So putting a Yonko as a third of the fight, putting Big Mom as a third independent side, so against both Kaido and Luffy, with Luffy against both Big Mom and Kaido against both Big Mom and Luffy, would make sense. But putting Big Mom on Luffy's side, it's too unbalanced. So all of that makes me think that actually something needs to appear to balance all of this situation. And actually in one of my previous videos I expressed my idea that Wano will be the place of a great war, involving not only Kaido and Big Mom, but most likely also other Yonkos, and my best bet is Teach. And this is because in chapter 925 Teach was presented, you know, the first time he was presented in the New World version, in the post-time skip version with the bounty and all, with the poor Absalom being killed, with Moria being tricked again, and all of that stuff. But it was introduced in that chapter, and in that same chapter King, fresh of his first introduction in the series, said, Jack, you know where you need to go now that Doflamingo is gone for the next trade. Now, this next trade, considering that it must replace Doflamingo's one, I think it may be centered, it's most likely centered on devil fruits. And in the world, those who have the greatest possibility to offer devil fruits to Kaido, apart from Germa 66, which may be the case, but I'm not so sure because of their recent involvement in the Wokkekaran arc, are Vegapunk, that indeed is coming to Wano, but you could say on Oroshi's side, because Orochi was capable of getting Vegapunk from the world government, as you can say by seeing him singing after his meeting with the CP0. So you can expect Vegapunk to come in Wano. And the other one is Teach. Is exactly Teach, because we know that Teach hunts devil fruits. So Teach knows the way to capture the power of devil fruits, the same way in which he got the Gura Gura from Whitebeard, the same way in which probably Shiryu got the power from Absalom. So, and the same way in which Barges wanted to get the Gomu Gomu no Mi from Luffy in Dressrosa. So Teach knows the way to get devil fruit powers. For this reason, he's probably the one King was referring to, and Teach probably has the possibility to get a lot of devil fruits that would be less useful than the weapons produced in Wano. That is the only place that can craft Karoseki, we have to remember, and so the quality of those weapons is incredibly high, especially considering that the world government itself exchanged Vegapunk for them. All of this stuff is kind of interesting. It means that we will see something about devil fruits probably in Wano, something very very important. Also, if this will actually be the situation where Vegapunk is first introduced, because we have to remember that Oda always related Vegapunk with the secrets of devil fruits in SBS, in the plot itself, because we know that Vegapunk is the one that created that technology to give powers to objects, because Vegapunk was mentioned to be the scientist, the famous scientist that would explain the origins and the way devil fruits work, and all of that stuff. If Teach is really involved, probably we will see him in Wano, and this would also explain why he was presented now in this moment, in a situation where he was completely out of everything that was happening. Indeed, that kind of presentation looked weird in this sense, but makes a lot of sense if we think that it kind of anticipated his presence in Wano related with this trade, with the fact that Kaido wants to get devil fruits from him. Also because if he discovers about Kaido's defeat, Big Mom's amnesia, Big Mom's defeat, so everything that happens in Wano, and I think he can discover about it because he knew that Luffy arrived in Wano, so he already knew what was happening in Wano somehow. This will give him the possibility to get strong devil fruits, to get power, to get everything that he always seeks. So, by the way, I made, if you didn't see it, I made a very interesting video, I really like it, about Teach. Specifically about Teach, and the character of Teach is a written one, but it's one of the video I am more proud of. Anyway, we are almost done with everything I want to say. The last thing I want to focus on is the one I mentioned before, the significance of the concept of amnesia. Now, amnesia for its nature erases memories. It's the definition of amnesia, is what amnesia is. But the significance lays in what this fact allows us to understand. By erasing memories, Big Mom erased everything she was before. This allows us to understand that actually everything we are our memories. Everything we are means what our experiences taught us, means also what we want to do, what we are about to do, our intentions, our ambitions, everything that we plan, everything that we have always planned, everything that we want, everything that we seek, everything of us is contained in the memories. But the fact that the memories can be erased so easily allows us to understand that apart from what we are experiencing now, all of that is incredibly frail. is something that is nothing more than an illusion. If we change memories instead of erasing them, we can completely change a person. We can make it a completely different one, and we can make him think that he always was like that. So this is the great significance about this fact, that with Big Mom can be seen even in a better way, because she's so relevant for One Piece. A yonko, a queen, a person that has so much influence on the underworld. So it's all of that, but actually it's nothing, because with just a hit on the right spot of the head, or passing through a waterfall, climbing it while singing for no reason. I hope Oda will explain this sooner rather than later. Anyway, it's necessary very little to completely erase all of that person was. This is the great significance of the aspect. So what we should be focused on is not everything that we experience. Probably you never suffer of amnesia, but you have to understand from this fact, from this particular situation, from Big Mom's loss of memory, that past is substantially an illusion. What's important is that you focus on the current moment, on what you want to be and the way you want to exist now. I will certainly make a more detailed video about this specific concept if Big Mom's amnesia continues and gives me the opportunity to do that. Anyway, for now, that's all for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I apologize if it was too long, if I talked badly. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and see you next time. Già ne.